So here's something I didn't think I would ever cover, but yet here it is. Here's a new game for the ZX Spectrum. It was featured in the most recent episode of Black Mirror, a show on Netflix called Bandersnatch. Now, the episode Bandersnatch is very different from many of the other episodes in Black Mirror. It's kind of more of a choose your own adventure slash interactive fiction movie. It's quite interesting, to say the least. And the name Bandersnatch comes from Lewis Carroll's Through the Looking Glass, which is where Alice in Wonderland comes from. I don't want to go into too much detail about the show because I don't want to spoil it, but it shows the development of a game called Nohzdyve, spelled all cool with Nohzdyve, because, you know, the cool kids are spelling things funny like that. And it's actually a reference to another Black Mirror episode called Nohzdyve. So in the episode, there's a fictional game developer called Tuckersoft. And you can go to their website, and they have some interesting pictures here of box art, which make some interesting games for sure. Games like Bandersnatch, Metalhead, Roach Busters, Rannoch Bee, Rolling Road, Pig in a Poke, and Valdoc's Revenge, and also one called White Bear. None of these games are playable. They also have something very interesting, which is a very humorous ad for a job posting with an ambiguous computer, which I can't tell what this is supposed to be, but apparently has 64 kilobytes of RAM, an 8-bit graphics card, and you can work with their visionary CEO, Mohan Tucker, who has an amazing head of hair. So basically what you do is you take the file you download from the website, and it's a .tap file, which is a tape file from a cassette. And you load it into a ZX Spectrum emulator, and you can play this game quite easily. There's many emulators to choose from, so just pick one and go with it. Now, as an American, I have virtually zero experience with this machine, but the ZX Spectrum, or Specky, as it is so lovingly called by British people, is an excellent example of a 1980s early British home computer that is based on the Zilog Z80 architecture. And it was the first computer of many a good person across the pond. It also had very colorful graphics and was well known for its arcade gameplay and had some interesting aesthetics. After a brief loading screen, you get this lovely intro screen and you get dropped right into the gameplay. Like a typical ZX Spectrum game at the time, you use the keyboard to control your character, but there are no arrow keys on the ZX Spectrum's keyboard. Instead, you use the O and P keys to go left and right, respectively. And basically, you're this dude here and you're following down this never-ending building and collecting balloons. So, as far as I can tell, there's no story associated with this game, so I'm just gonna make one up. You play as Tim. He's your standard bloke, and he's sitting there watching his telly, and he turns on the television and sees something very disturbing.
Tubby submarine. There's no substitute, just no substitute for Tubby submarine. Gotta get down to a Tubby's. I would go out of my way. 25 delicious varieties. I guarantee to make you say, Tubby submarine. Ooh, I love those Tubbies.
And he realizes that his television is possessed and he needs to jump out the window to escape. And outside the window there are clattering teeth trying to eat him for some reason. But the balloons give him some kind of energy, and he's sucked into some kind of portal where it takes him up to the top of the building and then drops him down over and over and over again. So it's kind of his own personal torture. The gameplay is very simple and basic. You just keep falling down and avoid air conditioners, chattering teeth, walls, and flower pots. It's 3 lives and then you're done. Like other ZX Spectrum games of the era, there is no winning of the game. You just try to get a high score. It is very, very challenging to get a high score. The game isn't too bad for a few minutes of fun, and I would recommend it if you enjoyed the show or if you wanted to waste a few minutes loading a game from tape. Because I'm a bit of an MS-DOS fanboy, PC Master Race, yo, I downloaded a ZX Spectrum emulator for MS-DOS, and here's the game running on my 486. It works. Overall, the game is okay. Kind of what you'd expect from a ZX Spectrum budget title of the time. Probably this would cost 99p, or about £1. And overall, it's fun to play in short bursts. I would give it a 3 out of 5. Not anything too spectacular, but it's okay. Now, there is no music to speak of in this game. It's basically your basic beeps and boops and this little clicking sound you hear throughout the whole game. But that is very typical of these kind of ZX Spectrum games, so I wouldn't expect anything more than that. So, Angus, what did you think about my review?